Hello everyone, it's me Noor. This will be the first chapter of our series. So in this chapter we will discuss about cell theory, plant and animal cell, what is fluid mosaic model, characteristics of cell, cell structure and its function. So what is cell? We know that cell is the unit of life. A cell is the smallest unit of life that can carry out all the process of life just as growth, metabolism, reproduction, and response to stimuli. All living organisms are made up of cell. There are organisms can be unicellular or multicellular. Uni indicates one and cellular means cell. So unicellular are those organisms which are made up of one cell, while multicellular means those organisms that are made up of many cells. For example, human, plants, animals, while unicellular are amoeba, bacteria. So, what is cell theory? Cell theory was proposed by Schleiden and Schwann and expanded by Rudolf Virchow. Postulates. There are three main postulates of the cell theory. First of all living organisms are made up of one or more cells. If the organism is made up of one cell, it will be called as unicellular. Got it? And if the organism is made up of more than one cell, then it will be called as multicellular. The example of unicellular is bacteria, and the example of multicellular organism is human. The second postulate of cell theory is the cell is the basic unit of structure and function in all living organisms. Okay, so all life process such as metabolism, respiration, growth, reproduction, digestion, anything or any process which occurs in our body is the cell is that part in our body in which all of these processes or reaction takes place. Okay, all cells arise from pre-existing cells, which means that new cells are formed only by division of existing cells, not spontaneously. For example, if this is a cell, so this cell will be divided into two daughter cell. This one daughter cell further divide into two daughter cell, and this one daughter cell divides into two daughter cells. They further divided into daughter cells. So it means that the new cells are formed from only by division of existing cells. Now we will discuss characteristics of cells. First of all, cell is the basic unit of life. Cells are the fundamental structural and functional units of all living organisms, whether unicellular or multicellular. Reproduction. Cell reproduce to create new cells through processes called mitosis and meiosis. We will discuss mitosis and meiosis in detail in upcoming lectures. So this is how mitosis takes place. This cell ultimately give rise to two daughter cells. Metabolism. Cells carry out biochemical reactions, that is energy production, synthesis of molecules which are necessary for growth, energy use and maintenance of life. Another characteristic of cells is response to stimuli. Cells can sense and respond to change in their environment. For example, temperature, light, chemical signal, which allow these organisms to adopt according to the stimulus. Genetic material. All cells contain DNA and RNA in virus which stores genetic information and dictates all function, cell growth and reproduction. So this is the structure of cells. Here is the cell wall. This is the nucleus, which is considered to be the brain of the cell. Inside the nucleus we have nucleolus. Then these are the chromatin which condense into chromosomes during the cell division. Near this nucleus we have smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulums are those in which the ribosomes are attached, while in smooth endoplasmic reticulum there is no ribosome. We will discuss each of these cell organelles in detail. Then we have mitochondria, which is known as the powerhouse of the cell. Then we have lysosomes. Then we have ribosomes and Golgi apparatus. So, what is the functions of cell? So here are some of the functions of cell. First of all, we have transport of materials. Cell regulate transport of nutrients, gases and waste through the membrane. So we discussed this is the cell membrane, and the cell regulates the inside movement and outside movement of molecules, for example carbon dioxide or water molecule, across the cell membrane. Protein synthesis. Ribosomes in cells build protein using genetic instructions. We will discuss it in DNA chapter. Homeostasis. Cells maintain a stable internal environment based on their pH, temperature and ions. Cell detects and responds to signal like light, chemicals and pressure. Cells send and receive signals through hormones, neurotransmitter and receptors. These are the chemical messengers. Okay. So now what is Golgi apparatus? We will have a detailed lecture on Golgi apparatus in which we study structure, function and cellular role of Golgi apparatus. So the Golgi apparatus is a vital organelle involved in the modification, sorting and transport of proteins and lipids. Proteins and lipids, these are the biomolecules. Okay. So what this Golgi apparatus do? This Golgi apparatus helps in the modification, sorting and transport of proteins and lipids outside the cell. For example, if a protein is made here inside the cell, then these Golgi apparatus will kick out or help to modify, sort and transport this protein outside the cell to the target organelle or organ. It is called dictyosomes in plants and lower invertebrates. Golgi apparatus was discovered by Camillo Golgi in 1898. That's why it's named as Golgi. It plays a key role in the secretory pathway of eukaryotic cell. Location: positioned near the endoplasmic reticulum. The secretory pathway. So what is it? It is the process by which proteins and lipids move from endoplasmic reticulum to Golgi apparatus and eventually to their final destination. So if we go back to this side, we can see here that, just a minute. Okay, so once a protein is made in here in the nucleus, endoplasmic reticulum, so we got our protein. So this protein will go or engulfed by the Golgi apparatus, and along this Golgi apparatus it will modify and it will be engulfed in the form of a vesicle inside this Golgi apparatus, and yes, then it will be move out of the cell with the help of this small bubble-like structure. So this is how Golgi apparatus modify, sort and transport the protein from inside the cell to the outside of the cell. So this is the secretory pathway, or this process is also known as exocytosis. So this is the endoplasmic reticulum. Here is a nucleus. These are the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So as I told you, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, there is no ribosome. Okay, and in rough endoplasmic reticulum we have ribosome. So these folding of endoplasmic reticulum is called cisternae, and the space between these cisternae is called cisternal space. And here is the ribosome attached on the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So what is rough endoplasmic reticulum? So why it is named as rough endoplasmic reticulum? It's because of its rough appearance, because of this ribosome. While in smooth endoplasmic reticulum, there is no projection, or there is no ribosome which gives it smooth appearance. That's why it is called smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum is a network of tubular membranes present in the cytoplasm of the eukaryotic cell. So here is the nucleus. This is the nucleolus. These are the chromatin, and these are the endoplasmic reticulum. It is responsible for many cellular functions, including synthesis of protein and lipids, regulation of intracellular calcium level. Endoplasmic reticulum's connection with other organelles. Nucleus. The endoplasmic reticulum is a continuous with the nuclear envelope, allowing the transport of messenger RNA. So here is the nucleus, and you can see that endoplasmic reticulum is continuous with the nuclear envelope. Golgi apparatus. Protein and lipids produced in the endoplasmic reticulum are packaged into vesicles and sent to the Golgi for further modification. For example, here the protein is made in endoplasmic reticulum. So this protein will be moved out and packaged or packed into the vesicle. Okay, and then sent to the Golgi apparatus. So in the Golgi apparatus, it will modify. Okay, then mitochondria and lysosome. Endoplasmic reticulum interacts with these organelles to support metabolic process. In the rough endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes attached to the surface are critical for protein synthesis. So it means that protein synthesis occurs on rough endoplasmic reticulum. Structure of endoplasmic reticulum. Tubules made up of interconnected tubules and flattened sacs, which are called cisternae. Cisternae, these are the flattened disc-like structures that are stacked and interconnected. Lumen, the space inside the cisternae where various reactions occurs are called lumen. So these are the tubules-like structure. Okay, cisternae, these are the flattened disc-like structure that are stacked and interconnected, and lumen is the space inside the cisternae. Okay, so that's enough for today. We'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.